Greetings to one and all. Friends, it is said the difference between ordinary and an extraordinary person is that little extra. Friends, the moment we try to put that little extra, we shall certainly transform ourselves from ordinary into an extraordinary person. But the question is, are we ready to put that little extra and in turn transform ourselves from ordinary into an extraordinary person? One such extraordinary person whom I have come across is Sri Mukesh Ambani. Friends, this man has taken certain decisions which has shaken the entire nation and caught the experts by surprise. One such extraordinary decision that this man has taken is with regard to the rights issue. Friends, this rights issue of Reliance Industries Limited is the largest rights issue in the history of India. Shiv Khera says, winners don't do different things, they do things differently. Mukesh Ambani is certainly a winner in this regard. Friends, ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿ ಫಿನಾನ್ಸ್ ರೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಹಸ್ ಕ್ವೈಟ್ ಅ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಟ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪೋಸಲ್. ನಾವು ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಬ್ರಾಡ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫೈಡ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಡೆಟ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೂಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ and equity related instruments. Friends, let us spend some time in understanding the difference between debt and equity. Now, the first point of difference between debt and equity is that debt is a creditorship security whereas equity is a ownership security. Now, you may be wondering what is creditorship and ownership securities. In case of creditorship securities, there is just a financial transaction. ಈಗ ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸು ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. Now the company has to repay them back with interest. Now that is the only arrangement in case of creditorship securities. It is just a financial transactions, whereas equity is a ownership security. Now ownership security is not just a financial transaction, it is much more beyond that. They have the voting prowess, they have a say in the decision making of the company. Now this is the distinct feature of equity, which is a ownership security, whereas debt is just a creditorship security. Again I repeat, creditorship security is a mere financial transaction, whereas equity is ownership security, wherein they take part in the decision making of the firm, they have the voting prowess, so on and so forth. The second point of difference between debt and equity is that the periodical payment made to debentures is referred to as interest, whereas the periodical payment to equity is referred to as dividends. Again I repeat, the periodical payment to debenture holders is referred to as interest, and in case of equity you refer it to as dividends. Now the third point of difference between debt and equity is that debt has a defined time period, whereas equity does not have defined time period. It is perpetual in nature. Now what do you mean by this? Now in case of debentures, there is a time period at the end of which these instruments have to be repaid or redeemed, whereas in case of equity there is no certain time period, it is perpetual. You need to repay them only at the time of liquidation. Again I repeat the third point, debt is having a defined time period, whereas equity does not have a defined time period, rather it is perpetual in nature. Now let us understand the fourth difference between debt and equity. Now debt is tax friendly instrument, whereas equity is not so tax friendly. Now how can I say debt is tax friendly and equity is not so tax friendly? Friends, the interest which I refer to in case of debt is an admissible expenditure. Andre ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡುವ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಇವನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ ತರ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಲೌಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಚರ್ಸ್. whereas in case of equity the dividends which are paid is inadmissible. ಇದನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ ತರ ತೋರ್ಸಕ್ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡುವ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ. ಹೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಡ್ಮಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಚರ್ whereas dividends is inadmissible expenditure. Now this is a very important distinction between the two, and hence we can conclude that debt is a tax friendly instrument whereas equity is not so tax friendly. Friends, before proceeding further, let us have a small recap of the differences between debt and equity. The first difference between debt and equity is that debt is a creditorship security whereas equity is a ownership security. The second difference, the periodical payment to debt instruments is referred to as interest. In case of equity, it was referred to as dividends. The third difference is that debt had a defined time period whereas in case of equity, it is perpetual in nature. The fourth difference is that debt is a tax friendly instrument whereas equity is not so tax friendly. Of course, there are quite a lot of other differences of which I have discussed the most important ones. Friends, I started the session with Reliance Industries Limited's rights issue example. Friends, you may be wondering what rights issue is all about. Rights issue is an arrangement where the fresh set of shares is being offered to the existing shareholders and the current existing shareholders shall purchase the fresh issue of shares. ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸು ಈ ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ನ ಖರೀದಿ ಮಾಡುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ನಾವು why did Reliance Industries Limited come out with the rights issue? Friends, now Reliance wants to repay the existing debts. Now where would it get the funds from? Of course, it is a cash rich company. It could have used the existing cash resources to repay the debt instruments, but it has chosen to raise the additional capital and use this capital to repay the debts. Now this is a fantastic decision wherein it has used the permanent source of capital, that is equity, to repay the debt instruments. On the flip side, Reliance company has lost out on two counts with this decision. Point number one, it is being deprived of usage of cheaper source of funds. Debt is a cheaper source of funds, equity is comparatively costlier than debt. Now it loses on this count. Point number two, as we have already dealt, interest is an admissible expenditure whereas dividends is inadmissible expenditure. The interest tax shield, that is the amount of tax saved on account of interest payment, is also lost. Now both these put together, you could call them as advantage of leverage. Now this company, by taking this decision, has lost the advantage of leverage. Nevertheless, on the big picture, it stands to gain on many other fronts. Friends, now that we have understood the difference between debt and equity instruments, if you could carefully see, debt ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಇದು ಎರಡಕ್ಕೂ ಅಜಗಜಾಂತರ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಇವೆ. I wish if I could have a hybrid security which has the combined feature of both debt and equity. One such hybrid security is preference shares. Friends, preference share is a hybrid security which has the combined feature or integrated feature of both debt and equity. Friends, preference share, as I have said, is a hybrid security which has certain features incorporated from debt instruments and certain other features incorporated from equity instruments. Let us spend some time in understanding the concept of preference shares. Friends, ಇದನ್ನು ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಆ ಶೇರ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಪದ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇದು ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿಯ ಫೀಚರ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಪೇ ಮಾಡುವಂತಹ ಪೀರಿಯಾಡಿಕಲ್ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ನ ಡಿವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಡಿವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಇದು ಸಹ ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿಯ ಒಂದು ಫೀಚರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮೂರನೇದಾಗಿ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ನಾಟ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಲಿ. ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಪೇ ಮಾಡುವಂತಹ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಡಿವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ನ ಅಡ್ಮಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಚರ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದ ಕಾರಣ ಈ ಮೂರು ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್, ಅಂದರೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಇವಕ್ಕೆ ಪೇ ಮಾಡುವಂತಹ ಪೀರಿಯಾಡಿಕಲ್ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ನ ಡಿವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಮೂರನೇದಾಗಿ ಈ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಪೇ ಮಾಡುವಂತಹ ಡಿವಿಡೆನ್ಸು ಇನ್ಅಡ್ಮಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಇರುವ ಕಾರಣ ಈ ಮೂರು ಆ್ಯಂಗಲಿಂದ ಇದನ್ನು ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೂಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿಬೋದು. ನಾವು ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸಿ ವಾಟ್ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೆಟ್ ಡಸ್ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್. ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ನಂಬರ್ 1, ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಅ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್. ಇದು ಡೆಟ್ಟಿನ ಫೀಚರ್. ಈಗ ಡೆಟ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೂಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪೇ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಅ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್. 7%, 8%, 10% ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ರೇಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿಗೆ ಅಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಫೀಚರ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟೆಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಡೆಟ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೂಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ದೇರ್ಫೋರ್ ದಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ feature of debt instrument that preference share has is it has a fixed rate of dividend. Point number 2, now preference shares in India cannot be issued beyond 20 years. Section 55 of Indian Companies Act of 2013, a very important section. Section 55 ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ, in India you cannot issue a preference shares beyond 20 years. 20 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಕಾಲಾವಧಿ ಉಳ್ಳಂತಹ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ನ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಸೇ ದಿ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಟೆನ್ಯೂರ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ is just 20 years. Of course, in case of infrastructure related companies, there are some leeway given. You can issue them beyond 20 years as well. Andre, the maximum tenure for issue of preference shares in India is 20 years. Then you can say preference shares in India has a defined time period. Now this is a feature of debt. Friends, now we can come to a conclusion that preference share is a hybrid security which has the combined feature of debt as well as equity. Friends, now let me discuss something very important. As I have just said, in India, preference shares has a defined time period, meaning to say at the end of this time period you need to repay back or redeem these preference shares. Therefore, a company, if it issues preference shares, it has to certainly redeem these preference shares. Therefore, it is imperative for any company that issues preference shares to redeem the preference shares. Friends, the topic for the discussion for the day is redemption of preference shares, which is a very interesting and quite fascinating subject. Friends, ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ನ ರೆಡೀಮ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಫಾಲೋ ದಿ ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 55 ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್ 2013. ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಡಿವಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಫಾಲೋ ಆಲ್ ದಿ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 55 ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್ 2013. ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ನ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆದರೆ ದಿ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಇಸ್ ವಿತ್ ರಿಗಾರ್ಡ್ ಟು adherence to these rules and regulations. For example, I am reminded of a small instance. There was a student who jumped the traffic signal. ಇವನು ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ನ ಜಂಪ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಅವ್ರು ನಿಂತಿದ್ರು. ಇವನ್ನ ಹಿಡಿದು ಸೈಡ್ಗೆ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು. ಏನಪ್ಪ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೆಡ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಇತ್ತು, ನೀನು ಪಾಡಿಗೆ ಜಂಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದೆಯಾ, ರೆಡ್ ಲೈಟ್ ನೋಡಿಲ್ವಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಇವನು ಹೇಳಿದಂತಹ ಉತ್ತರ ತುಂಬ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಅವ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ದ, ಸರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೆಡ್ ಲೈಟ್ನೇನೋ ನೋಡಿದೆ ಸರ್, ಆದರೆ ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಂತಿರೋದನ್ನು ನೋಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ದ. ಈ ಒಂದು ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ನಮ್ಮಿಂದ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು. ಇರ್ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ವೆದರ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆರ್ ವಾಚಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ವಾಚಿಂಗ್, whether we may get caught or not get caught, we should strictly adhere to the rules and regulations. Of course, companies have no choice. They have to strictly adhere to the rules and regulations, and the rules and regulations as stated in section 55 has to be followed. Friends, ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿ ತನಗಿಷ್ಟ ಬಂದಂತೆ ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. There is a set of guidelines issued by Companies Act of 2013 which it has to strictly adhere to. You cannot deviate from this set of provisions. Now, the set of provisions relating to redemption of preference shares is dealt in section 55. Friends, now let us try to move ahead and try to discuss the 6 conditions that are stated in section 55 of Companies Act 2013. Friends, at the beginning itself, let me tell you, it is not important for us to just know these 6 conditions. It is quite important for us to understand these 6 conditions. Now, I am going to make an attempt not only to know these 6 conditions, rather to understand these 6 conditions. Let us move ahead and try to understand these 6 conditions in the manner in which it has to be understood. Friends, condition number 1, it is the simplest and quite straightforward. Now, the condition 1 says that the preference shares are to be fully paid in order to be redeemed. Now, friends, what do you mean by fully paid preference shares? Now, let us say a preference share has a face value of rupees 10. Now, you have to ensure that the entire 10 rupees is being paid. Now, if the face value is rupees 10 and the entire rupees 10 is being paid, then you can say the shares are fully paid. Now, before you start with the process of redemption, you have to certainly ensure that these preference shares which are due for redemption has to be fully paid. Can I repeat the condition 1? Condition 1 says only fully paid preference shares can be redeemed. Now, you may ask me a question, sir, ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ರಿಡೀಮ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ, ಆದರೆ ಈ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ಸು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಪೇಯ್ಡ್, ಅಂದರೆ 10 rupees ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ಸು ಫೇಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ 10 rupees, ನಾವು 6 ಪೇಯ್ಡು, 7 ಪೇಯ್ಡು, 8 ಪೇಯ್ಡು, ಆದರೆ ನಾವೀಗ ರಿಡೀಮ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ಸರ್, ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ? ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ? ಓನ್ಲಿ ಫುಲ್ಲಿ ಪೇಯ್ಡ್ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ರಿಡೀಮ್. ಆದರೆ ಈಗ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಪೇಯ್ಡ್ ಇದೆ, ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಸರ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಇಂತಹ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಎನ್ಶ್ಯೂರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ these partly paid preference shares has to be converted into fully paid, and only then you can start ahead with the process of redemption. Hence, the very first step that you need to keep it in mind is that to ensure that these preference shares which are due for redemption to be fully paid. The first condition says only fully paid preference shares can be redeemed. Friends, ಈಗ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ? ದಿ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ರಿಡೀಮ್ ಐದರ್ ಅಟ್ ಪಾರ್ ಆರ್ ಅಟ್ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಬಟ್ ನೆವರ್ ಅಟ್ ಅ ಡಿಸ್ಕೌಂಟ್. ಈಗ ಪಾರ್, ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ, ಡಿಸ್ಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ನೋಡೋಣ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸೇ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಫೇಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ rupees 10. If you are redeeming at 10 rupees itself, you would refer to as redemption at par. ಈಗ 10 rupees ಶೇರ್ಸ್ನ 11 rupees ಅಥವಾ 12 rupeesಗೆ ರಿಡೀಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಯು ವುಡ್ ರೆಫರ್ ಇಟ್ ಟು ಆಸ್ ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಟ್ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ. 10 rupeesಗಿಂತ ಕಡಿಮೆ ರಿಡೀಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಯು ವುಡ್ ರೆಫರ್ ಟು ಆಸ್ ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಟ್ ಅ ಡಿಸ್ಕೌಂಟ್. ಬಟ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ಲಿ ನೋಟ್, ದಿ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಸೇಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರಿಡೀಮ್ ದೀಸ್ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಐದರ್ ಅಟ್ ಪಾರ್ or at a premium but never at a discount. You may ask me a question, sir, why is the second condition there? Now, the second condition is basically trying to protect the interest of the investors. Ega, imagine there is a situation where 10 lakhs worth of preference shares are to be redeemed. ನಾವು ಈಗ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಂಪನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, 10 ಲಕ್ಷ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈಗ ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಾನು 8 ಲಕ್ಷ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ, 7 ಲಕ್ಷ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ, 6 ಲಕ್ಷ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ದೀಸ್ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ವುಡ್ ಲೂಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಮನಿ, ದೇ ವುಡ್ ಲೂಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ನೌ Companies Act does not want this situation to arise. Hence, they have framed this condition in order to protect the interest of the investors. Now, the company is free to decide whether to redeem at par or at a premium, but it cannot redeem at a discount. Now, the second condition, is pretty simple condition which says the preference shares can be redeemed either at par or at premium but never at a discount. Now let us try to see what condition 1 and 2 is before moving to third condition. Now condition 1 says only fully paid preference shares can be redeemed. Condition 2 says preference shares can be redeemed either at par or at premium but never at a discount. Now moving on, let us try to see what this third condition is all about. Now third condition is just a continuation of the second condition. Now in second condition we discussed that preference shares can be redeemed either at par or at premium but never at a discount. Now if in case the company has decided to redeem these preference shares at a premium, andre for example 10 lakhs worth of preference shares are there. Now you have decided to redeem them at 10% premium, andre 10% of 10 lakhs amounts to rupees 1 lakh. ಈಗ ಈ 1 ಲಕ್ಷ ರೂಪಾಯಿನ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ತರ್ತೀವಿ? ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಉತ್ತರನ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ನಮಗೆ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ನಾವು ದ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಪೋರ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ 1 lakh rupees ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಫಂಡೆಡ್ either out of securities premium or divisible profits. ನಾವು ಈ 1 ಲಕ್ಷ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಪೋರ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಇದನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತೀವಿ? ಎರಡು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ನಂಬರ್ 3. ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ತರಬಹುದು? ಒಂದು ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಅಥವಾ ಡಿವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್. ಈಗ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು, ಡಿವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ನೋಡೋಣ. ಈಗ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ವೇರ್ if the shares are issued at a premium, that premium portion is transferred to securities premium account. If you have issued the shares at premium, that premium portion ಎಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೆ? Securities premium account ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Now if you are redeeming the shares at premium, you can use the same premium amount which is lying in securities premium to redeem the preference shares. See how beautifully this condition is being designed. Now when you are issuing the shares at a premium, that premium portion is separately kept in an account called a securities premium account. You can use the amount lying in this account to redeem the shares at a premium. Friends, the third condition which said the premium portion which is involved in the case of redemption of preference shares can be funded either out of securities premium ಅಥವಾ divisible profits ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ. ನಾವು ಈಗ divisible profits ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ನೋಡೋಣ. ನಾವು generally divisible profits are set of profits, accumulated profits which are lying in your company which can otherwise be used for declaration of dividends. Again I repeat, it is a set of accounts. Now ಈ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ನ you can use it for declaration of dividends. ಇದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ we give one name which is referred to as divisible profits. I said divisible profits are set of accounts. Now what are the set of accounts? It could include general reserve, reserve fund, P&L account, credit balance, dividend equalization fund, so on and so forth. Basically these are accounts which are otherwise available for declaration of dividends. It is an accumulated profit. You can use these accumulated profits as well if in case securities premium account is insufficient to fund the premium portion involved in redemption of preference shares. Friends, again I repeat the third condition which says the redemption of preference shares, if it is made at a premium, that premium portion has to be funded either out of securities premium account or out of divisible profits. Let us see first, second and third condition. Condition number 1 says only fully paid preference shares can be redeemed. Now condition number 2 says preference shares can be redeemed either at par or at a premium but never at a discount. Condition number 3 says the premium portion involved in redemption of preference shares can be funded either out of securities premium account or out of divisible profits. Now let us try to see what this condition 4 is all about. Now condition 4 is the most important condition of all these 6. Of course every condition is important, but this fourth condition has quite a lot of logic in it which I will be explaining in the due course of time. The fourth condition says the redemption of preference shares has to be either out of fresh issue of shares or out of divisible profits. Now condition 4 ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ರಿಡೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಯು ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್. ನಾವು ಈ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ತರ್ತೀರಿ? ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ 2 sources. The first source is you can bring it from fresh issue of shares or out of divisible profits. I have already discussed what divisible profits are all about. The funds required for redemption of preference shares can be either out of divisible profits or fresh issue of shares. Now let us take an example. Now there are preference shares worth 10 lakhs which are to be redeemed. ಈಗ 10 ಲಕ್ಷ worth of preference shares ನ redeem ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. Let us also assume that you have decided to redeem it at a premium of 10%. Hence, the total funds required for us is 11 lakhs. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? ಈಗ ಈ 11 lakhsನ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ತರಬೇಕು? ಥರ್ಡ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ? ಆ 1 lakh ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಪೋರ್ಷನ್ನ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಅಥವಾ ಡಿವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್. ನಾವು 1 lakh ಆಗಿದೆ. ಈಗ 10 ಲಕ್ಷ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ 11 lakhs, 1 lakh funds you arrange it from securities premium or divisible profits. Now where do you get this 10 lakhs funds from? Now the 10 lakhs funds can be arranged either from fresh issue of shares or out of divisible profits only. Now ಈಗ ಈ 10 ಲಕ್ಷ ರೂಪಾಯಿನ ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮೂಲಕ ಅಥವಾ ಡಿವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಮೂಲಕ ನೀವು ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. Now you may ask me a question, sir, ಫುಲ್ಲು ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ ಅಥವಾ ಫುಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ, ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಡಿವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ? ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ 3 modes are acceptable. Now entire 10 lakhs can be funded from fresh issue or the entire 10 lakhs can be taken from divisible profits if the companies have that much of profits, or 3 lakhs from fresh issue, 7 lakhs from divisible profits, or 8 lakhs from fresh issue, 2 lakhs from divisible profits. The company is free to decide the permutations and combinations, but the company has to arrange for the funds either out of fresh issue of shares or out of divisible profits only. Before going to the 5th condition, let us see 1, 2, 3, 4. Now condition 1, only fully paid preference shares can be redeemed. Condition number 2, preference shares can be redeemed either at par or at a premium but never at a discount. Condition number 3 says the premium on redemption of preference shares can be funded either out of securities premium account or out of divisible profits. And the 4th condition says the redemption of preference shares, I mean the par value, has to be either out of fresh issue of shares or out of divisible profits. Let us see the 5th condition. Now the 5th condition is the continuation of the 4th condition. Now the 4th condition said the redemption of preference shares can be either out of fresh issue or divisible profits. If in case you have used divisible profits for redemption, such divisible profits that are used for redemption shall be transferred to capital redemption reserve account, or it is profoundly called as CRR account. Again I repeat, ನೀವೇನಾದರೂ divisible profits ಮೂಲಕ redemption of preference shares ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತಹ divisible profits that are used for redemption shall be transferred to an account called as capital redemption reserve account or CRR account. Now let us say in the previous example we required total 11 lakhs for the redemption. That 1 lakh rupees had to be funded either out of securities premium account or divisible profits. Now the 10 lakhs par value has to be either out of fresh issue or out of divisible profits anta helidvi. Now let us say out of this 10 lakhs, 6 lakhs is from fresh issue of shares. The balance 4 lakhs is taken from divisible profit. Now the 4 lakhs worth of divisible profits that is involved in the redemption of preference shares has to be transferred to CRR account. You have to ensure that 4 lakhs used from divisible profits is lying in CRR account. Now before going to 6th condition, let us have a small glimpse of condition 1 to 5. Condition number 1, only fully paid preference shares can be redeemed. Condition number 2, preference shares can be redeemed either at par or at premium but never at a discount. Condition number 3 says the premium on redemption of preference shares has to be funded either out of securities premium account or out of divisible profits. Condition number 4 says the redemption of preference shares has to be either out of fresh issue of shares or out of divisible profits. Condition number 5 says the divisible profits that are used for redemption shall be transferred to capital redemption reserve or CRR account. The sixth and the final condition, very simple condition. Now, as per the fifth condition, the divisible profits used for redemption is transferred to CRR account. Now, the amount is lying in CRR account. Sixth condition says, what can we do with the amount available in CRR account? Now, as per the sixth condition, it says the amount available in CRR account can be used for bonus issue. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ CRR account balance ನ you can use that for issue of bonus shares. ಈಗ ಬೋನಸ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು? ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ಗೆ you give them as a reward. It is a type of dividend which is given. Instead of giving them cash dividends, you are giving your company's shares itself as dividend. Now this is referred to as bonus shares. As per the sixth condition, the amount available in CRR account can be utilized for bonus issue. Now let us have a quick recap of all the 6 conditions. Now condition number 1 says only fully paid preference shares can be redeemed. Now condition number 2 says preference shares can be redeemed either at par or at a premium but never at a discount. Now condition number 3 says if at all you are redeeming at a premium, the premium on redemption of preference shares shall be funded either out of securities premium account or out of divisible profits. Now condition number 4 says the premium of redemption of preference shares, of course the par value has to be either out of fresh issue of shares or out of divisible profits. Condition number 5 says the divisible profits utilized for redemption shall be transferred to CRR account. Now the sixth and the final condition says the amount available in CRR account can be utilized for issue of bonus shares. Friends, at the beginning I told you that it is not important for us to just know these conditions, we need to understand these conditions. Now we are done with the first step of knowing these conditions. Now let us try to understand these conditions. As I keep telling, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is putting that little extra. Now let us put that little extra and transform from knowing the conditions to understanding the conditions. I am sure that you also would be interested to understand these conditions rather than just knowing these conditions. Friends, let me spend some time in understanding the logic and objective behind section 55. Please concentrate and listen to me. Now, there is a share capital in a company. Now, the share capital comprises of 2 parts, equity share capital and preference share capital. Now, in the process of redemption of preference shares, this set of preference share capital moves out of your business. Therefore, there is an outflow of capital. ಈಗ ಈ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಔಟ್ಫ್ಲೋ ಆಗಿದ್ದಲ್ಲಿ there is a gap in this share capital and the capital structure has got disturbed. Hence, the entire financial structure of the company has got disturbed. Now, as per section 55, you don't want that to happen. You don't want either your capital structure or the financial structure of your company to get disturbed. Now, let us understand what has section 55 done so that the erstwhile capital structure is being restored. Friends, try to understand. When the redemption of preference shares happen, the preference share capital flows out, I said. Now, from where do you get these funds? Either from fresh issue of shares or out of divisible profits. 2 sources. Now, if there is a fresh issue of shares, those set of shares come and occupy the gap built on account of redemption of preference shares. Hence, the restoration of the erstwhile capital structure takes place. Now, if at all you have used the divisible profits for redemption, now the divisible profits used for redemption is transferred to CRR account. Now, the amount available in CRR account is used for bonus shares. Now, bonus shares is nothing but issue of fresh shares. Again, the moment the fresh issue of shares happen, it comes and occupies the gap that is created on account of redemption of preference shares. It is very interesting. Friends, the gap that has arisen on account of redemption of preference shares can be filled in two ways. First one is the direct fill. The second one I would rather call it as an indirect filling. Now, in case of direct fill, you have used fresh issue of shares, directly comes and occupies the gap. In case of indirect fill, that is, if you have used divisible profits for redemption, those divisible profits are transferred to CRR account and the amount lying in CRR account is used for bonus shares, and bonus shares automatically comes and tries to fill the gap that has arisen on account of redemption of preference shares. Hence, the erstwhile capital structure is restored and there is no major turbulence or disturbance in your balance sheet. Friends, let me have an evaluation of today's session. Let me pose certain questions to these two friends of mine and let me see how far they have understood today's session. Question number 1. Which section talks about redemption of preference shares?
Section 55 of Indian Companies Act 2013.
Fantastic. The second question. The preference shares need to be fully paid in order to be redeemed. True or false?
True.
Very good. The next question. If the preference shares are partly paid and we need to redeem these preference shares, what would you do?
These partly paid preference shares need to be converted into fully paid. Only then we can start with the process of redemption.
Fantastic. How would you raise the funds required for redemption of preference shares?
It can be raised out of two sources only: fresh issue or divisible profits.
Perfect. The next question. How would you get the funds for premium portion in case of redemption of preference shares?
Premium portions can be funded either by securities premium or by divisible profits.
Perfect. How do you treat the divisible profits used for redemption?
We shall transfer the divisible profits used for redemption to CRR account.
Perfect. Friends, I thoroughly enjoyed discussing the rules and regulations that are involved in the redemption of preference shares. In my next session, I would be talking about the accounting treatment involved in the process of redemption of preference shares, which is even more fascinating and even more interesting. Till then, signing off from you people, Dr. Sairam, Assistant Professor, GFGC, Vemgal, Kolar District. Thank you all for your patient listening.